Hey guys, Jeff from AVS back again. This time I'm here to show you our new Evolve kit. If you're not familiar with Evolve, this is our new brand of AVS gear. Basically a higher line. You know, we don't hold back on anything when it comes to these, you know, these are parts under the Evolve brand name. So you're gonna get the most bang for your buck on this stuff. But I have had a few people ask already, you know, what's the differences between your AVS, your new AVS dual wiring kit, which is our new 8 gauge kit, okay, and our Evolve kit. Well, a lot of differences. Number one, again, like I said, that's an 8 gauge kit. This is actually a 4 gauge kit. And by the way, I didn't mention in our last video, all of our power wire is actually tinned copper. It's 100% copper. It's none of this CCA copper plated aluminum stuff that you're gonna find in a lot of the stereo industry. A lot of guys are using it for compressors and stuff like that, but they're finding that the performance is not there because aluminum does not conduct the same as copper. So make sure if you guys are not buying our kits and you're still gonna be doing it yourself and picking your parts from wherever, that you do not use that aluminum wire. Make sure it's a nice, solid copper wire. I mean, this stuff is, our kits are heavy. You feel this thing, I mean, it's, you know, it's no joke. So again, this is a 4 gauge kit. It does come with some 8 gauge. This is more just for distribution once this main power wire gets to the back. So that's one of the main differences. Second one is, instead of having the relays on the AVS kit, you've actually got a Wire 80 amp solenoid, which is basically a giant relay. 80 amps, you're not gonna put a dent in this thing. You're not gonna hurt it. You buy it one time, this thing's gonna last you forever. So we sell a ton of those by themselves already, never have any comebacks. So we have an extra A&L fuse holder. This is to protect the vehicle. I'll get into that a little bit more later, exactly, you know, how to install all of them and what they're for. But that's the main differences. Again, having 80 amp solenoid and the 4 gauge power wire, you're gonna have a lot more current delivery, you know, on that. So that's the biggest ones. But back to the installation of this kit now, our Evolve kit. I recommend working backwards on it, meaning get your compressors mounted. Once your compressors are mounted, you know where they're gonna go, get them bolted up, then you can start wiring from the back going forward. That's gonna be the easiest thing, at least the way I find it. Find a good spot for your solenoid. You want to keep these close to the compressors. I do recommend it. Try to centralize it if you can. You don't have to, but it makes things a little easier. And again, just aesthetics, it's going to be a little more symmetrical. So get this mounted. We do include a pack of all stainless hardware. That way you don't got to worry about any rust issues. Everything, all your nuts are all self-locking nuts. And then you also have some star washers in there, which also help lock it, but they also bite into the metal for ground purposes. Gives you a better connection. But we have 2 of those in here that are gonna be for the mounting of this solenoid. So use those on that. Get that baby mounted. Once you get this mounted, the next one we're gonna do, we're gonna run our included black cable. And this one has a ring terminal already soldered and shrink tubed on it. We're gonna run that to either one of these 2 smaller connections down here. So take off your nut, take off your washer, put your ring terminal, put your nut and washer back on, tighten it up. And from that black wire, you're gonna run that over to your pressure switch. Okay? Now on your pressure switch, if you have one like ours, like the AVS ones, or a Wire one that's got just the 2 male prongs on it, we've included 2 female connectors. You're gonna need a set of crimpers on here to crimp these right. So you're gonna strip your wire, crimp it, and then plug that black wire onto one side of your pressure switch. Doesn't matter which side it is, just either one of the 2 terminals. And then the rest of your black wire on there, gonna go ahead and crimp that onto the other terminal and plug that onto there. And then on the very other end of it, you're gonna ground it. So when you ground it, again, go back to your stainless hardware pack. You got a nut and bolt and washer in there. Make sure wherever you ground it, preferably on the frame of the vehicle. If you got a body, you know, unibody type car, then just find a good spot that's got a lot of girthy metal, and you know, make sure you take the paint off of it, any seam sealer, anything like that. Sand it down, get it to nice raw metal to where when you cinch this up, that star washer is going to bite into that metal and give it a good connection. Okay, so now you got your ground connected to the coil of your solenoid. So now you're going to have your other terminal left over. I want you to hook your yellow wire up from here. This is 20 feet of 18 gauge yellow wire. We're going to go ahead and connect that and leave that for now. So you got your 2 wires off your coil from your solenoid hooked up. Then I want you to take your red wire, your hot wire from your compressor. And I want you, don't cut it, don't shorten it unless you have to, unless just for cosmetics, but try to keep that as long as possible. They're normally within a foot or so. What you want to do is take one of our A&L fuse holders, open that up, and you want to mount that within reach of that wire. So mount this to the frame or wherever, but again, somewhere close proximity to your compressor. Now, the reason we've done it this way, we're going to put a fuse back there on each compressor. For one, we don't have you crimping your compressor with a butt connector, say. If something goes wrong with that compressor and you've got to send it in for repair or for warranty, then you're going to have to start cutting wires, replacing butt connectors and so forth. Well, having that fuse right there not only protects your compressor in case it shorts out or in case something goes haywire, but it also makes it easy to remove the compressor from the vehicle. Simply take one of our tools that's included in the kit, loosen up the Allen nut, pop your wire in, pop your wire out. It's that simple. You're not having to cut anything or replace anything ever. Okay? So that's why we're doing an A&L fuse holder right there. So go ahead and get that mounted up. Get your red wire from your compressor installed onto there. Don't hook up your fuse just yet. We're going to do that at the very end after everything's connected. There is 3 fuses are included in the kit. One's 70 and 2 are 40s. The 2 40s are for your compressors. So go ahead and make sure that that gets installed and properly into the fuse holder. Tighten it down with the provided tool and make sure nothing's loose on there. Now, the other side of your fuse holder, I want you to take our 8 gauge wire that's included. And actually, we're gonna go back to the solenoid. Off of, doesn't matter which one. We'll go with the closest terminal that's closer to the 2 coil inputs. And we're gonna take the nut off of here. We're gonna unstrap this and connect this onto here. Okay, and just temporarily hand tighten your nut back on because we're gonna do this twice. So, and what I want you to do is have it going from your solenoid and run it over to your first fuse holder to your compressor. Cut it to the length needed, get it mounted up. We've got zip ties included in the kit. So once you have the 8 gauge power wire connected from the terminal of the solenoid to your A&L fuse holder, which is connected to your compressor, get that installed onto there. Repeat it for the other side. And you've got a ring terminal, you got 2 of them on here. So each one has that. So you'll have both of these connected to the same terminal. Don't put one on each. You're going to put them both on the one terminal and splitting off to the 2 compressors or to the 2 fuse holders, okay? Once you have that done, you can go ahead and tighten up that this terminal with a tool. Make sure it's tight. Shouldn't be able to spin those ring terminals. Should be tight enough to where they're frozen. You cannot move them, okay? Your other terminal on your solenoid, I want you to go ahead and run your 4 gauge power wire to that. So get that mounted onto there. That one you can go ahead and tighten down right now. And I want you to run the rest of this and the rest of your yellow wire. Get that ran up to the front of your truck or to the front of your car, okay? If you're on a truck, you can run it along your frame, or if you got an older, muscle car, anything like that, again, the frame is a good place to hide all your wiring in. Strap them with the included zip ties to factory looms so they're not falling down or not dragging. Make sure they're not getting pinched anywhere. Make sure they're not going against any sharp edges of metal, okay? You don't want them getting cut into. Once you get it up to the front, you need to find a good location within 18 inches of your battery for your main A&L fuse holder. Now this fuse holder is to protect your vehicle, okay? This is if, let's say you did have a piece of wire against a sharp piece of metal and that thing shorts out. Well, if that thing shorted out and you didn't have this installed, that wire is gonna get red hot. That jacket's gonna flame up. It's going to burn into anything that it's running against, including other wiring and stuff like that. So you don't want to do that. So this is going to save you from that. It's going to pop that fuse in case you get a short. Worst scenario too, if you get into not a fender bender, but an accident, and that wire gets crushed because you've gotten to this accident. We don't want that wire starting the car on fire you know, and you might be trapped in it. So again, make sure everything is fused properly. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a good location to mount this fuse holder within 18 inches of the positive on your battery terminal. Once you get it mounted, and again, we've got screws included for all your fuse holders for both the small A&Ls and this large A&L. Those are all included in the kit. If you're screwing into plastic, those will just zip right in. If you're screwing them into metal though, I do suggest you screw in, or pre-drill it with the smaller bit, you know, basically the size of the shank that's in there, not the size of the threads. Okay, so once you get this mounted up, finish running your 4 gauge all the way up to here. And again, there's no in or out, it's just a fuse holder. There's 2 sides, doesn't matter which one you connect to, okay? Get it connected to one of those sides, squeeze it, take off the cover. Again, we have the tools included in there. Loosen the set screw up, strip the end of your, cut your 4 gauge. You're gonna cut that, and you're gonna strip the end and stick your copper in there. Make sure not to cut any of the copper off. Make sure you don't have fray strands coming out that can, you know, touch and short out. So make sure it's nice and clean when you put it in there, and then tighten this down. Make sure it's nice and snug where, you know, give that wire a tug. You should not be able to pull it out. Shouldn't move. Should be pretty solid. Once you've done that, take the other end of your 4 gauge that you've now cut off, and what I want you to do is run it to the positive of your battery cable. Now be very careful. Once you do that, or better yet, undo your ground. Undo your ground at this point on your battery cable, because you're gonna have a live wire that's, again, it's only gonna be 18 inches or shorter, but still, that's gonna be live hot wire. If you touch metal with it, you're gonna spark. So make sure, just go ahead and undo your ground cable off the battery for now. Get this connected to the main battery power cable, and then run it to the other side of your A&L fuse holder. And if you got a lot of excess cut, go ahead and cut it off at this time. Strip it, terminate it, and you're good to go. So now you've got those done. You've got, we've got all 4 connections on our solenoid complete. Yellow wires up front. Well, what do I do with it? Well, we need a signal. We need a positive signal to go on this yellow wire. This is going to be switched accessories, what we're looking for. So what I need you to do, look for a fuse holder or a fuse compartment. If you have one under the hood, beautiful. If you got it inside the cab, under the dash, on the side, then you're going to need to run this yellow wire inside. Once you do, I need you to look for an accessory fuse. Now, the accessory fuse is going to be either a wiper circuit or a radio circuit. If you have a test light or 12-volt meter, what I want you to do is test it for 12 volts with the key on. Turn the key off, it should shut off. But most importantly, when you crank, when you go to start the car, I need you to make sure that the voltage drops out. We don't want power on this yellow wire while the car's cranking, because if it does, you're going to have your compressors running while the car's trying to start. So we want all that available power to go to your starter. We don't want anything else running. That's exactly why when you go to start your vehicle, you'll see your radio cuts out, your wipers might freeze for a second until you release that crank. And that's why the manufacturer did that. They want all that power diverted to your starter, okay? So make sure you hook up to that accessory circuit. Otherwise, if you find a fuse that turns on with the key, turns off with the key, but it doesn't turn off when you crank, that's actually an ignition circuit, and we don't want that one, okay? So once you locate a fuse that is adequate and does shut down when you go to crank, find out what type of fuse you have, and we got 3 different fuse holders here that we've included in the kit. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove that fuse from the vehicle, make sure you know where it went, and you're gonna plug this fuse tap back into it in place of the fuse. Once you plug it in, I want you to take your fuse that you've now removed, and you're going to put it in the bottom section of the fuse tap. As you can see, this now has room for 2 fuses. So you're going to put it in the lower one, and then you're going to take our included 5-amp fuse, and you're going to stick it in the upper 2 terminals, okay? Just like that. And you'll have the 2 fuses in there. So now you'll have 2 circuits. You still have your original factory circuit, which is still protected by its original fuse, and then you have our yellow accessory circuit, which is protected by that 5-amp fuse. And that way, if that yellow wire gets pinched under the vehicle or gets shorted to ground, again, you're not gonna have this wire going up in smoke or going up in flames, simply gonna pop this fuse, okay? So once you've got that done, go over everything, check it all. You know what I don't think we did? We didn't ground the compressors yet. I need you to ground those compressor wires. Again, use the stainless steel hardware we've given you. Make sure you use that star washer that's included in the kit. But we've also taken it a step further on our Evolve kit. On our Evolve kit, we also include a ring terminal and a little black boot just to dress it up, make it look a little classier. The ones, if you're used to installing wire compressors, the ring terminals that are on there tend to be a little brittle. If you flex them one time or more, they tend to snap off. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of wire compressors, big fan of wire compressors, but I'm not a fan of those ring terminals that come on them. So usually I'll clip those off and I'll install my own. So that's why we've included those in the kit. So that's in there. Make sure you use them. And again, make sure it's a nice solid ground on a nice solid piece of metal, preferably the frame if you have it. Again, if not, find a good ground point that's suitable. It's not just on some little chintzy bracket somewhere or something that's bolted to something else. Make sure it's part of the chassis, part of the vehicle. Okay. So once you've got all that done, you got your ring terminal from your battery to your main A&L fuse, coming out of your A&L to one side. Again, on this example, we're going to use this top one. It's going to go to here. And then on this side, we have our two 8-gauge wires splitting off of here, going to our two A&Ls on our compressors, and our red wire from each compressor going to its appropriate A&L fuse holder. So once all that's done, you got your pressure switch already hooked up to ground, going into this side of your solenoid, the small terminal down here. And then we've got your yellow wire connected from here up to your fuse box with the fuse installed. Looks like we're good to go. Go ahead and install your two 40-amp fuses for your compressors. Install those back into their fuse holders. Make sure they're cranked down nice and tight. You shouldn't be able to move those things at all. They should be nice and solid when you're done. And then lastly, hook up your 70-amp, the blue fuse. Hook that up into your main fuse up by the battery. Once all that's done, go ahead and start your vehicle up. Once that vehicle's running, those compressors should, as soon as you turn that key on, you're gonna hear them cycle. But start it up and make sure everything's working. That's another point I want to give you guys too. Being a wire distributor, we're very picky about how you do everything. We made these things so your compressors will work right the way they were intended. So make sure another thing you do too is when you run your compressors, start the vehicle. Don't just turn the key on. I need you to start it because the way those were made to run off of about 14 volts, not off of 12 volts. When the vehicle's running, your alternator is going to take over from your battery. The alternator's putting out about 13.5 to 14 or so. And that way, that's what your compressors are made to run on. You'll even hear a difference. When you have the key on, hear them running, they're nice and smooth, but when you start it up, you'll hear the RPM kind of speed up on the compressors. That's what they were meant to work at that higher RPM. So you actually take away from the life of those compressors if you're running them without the vehicle running. So make sure the vehicle's running. But other than that, if you got any questions on the kit, you're running into a roadblock somewhere, don't know what to do, or if I didn't go over something, or anything, give us a call. Number is 559-486-5444, or you can shoot us an email if you got pics to send us, anything like that. Shoot it to info@avsontheweb.com. We'll be happy to help you. Any other questions, any other recommendations, or anything you'd like to see added to the kit in the future, same thing. Shoot it to our email. We want feedback. Give us feedback. Hit that subscribe button, and that's it. Let us know what you think. Thanks.